A young woman stands tall, clutching a pride flag tightly in her hands, her eyes locked on the most powerful man in the country, President Trump. What happens next isn't loud or dramatic, but it pierces through the noise with a question so honest, so heartfelt, that it stops everyone in their tracks. This isn't just a protest, it's a moment that demands answers and could change everything. Outside the White House, the usual buzz of tourists and reporters fills the air, but today feels different. No national event, no headline-grabbing ceremony, just a strange tension in the atmosphere. Among the crowd stands Chloe, a 20-something, with light brown hair and quiet determination in her eyes. As sunlight catches the strands of her hair, the world holds its breath, waiting to see what she'll ask and how the president will respond. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We love hearing your stories. Chloe didn't look like the serious-faced reporters in suits or the relaxed tourists in vacation gear. She wore a halter-style crop top with abstract patterns in green, blue, and pink, reflecting the vibrant life she stood for. Her high-waisted black pants grounded her stance, but it was the rainbow pride flag in her hands, held like a quiet shield, that truly stood out, its 6 bold stripes in sharp contrast to the towering white columns of the White House. She wasn't shouting or waving protest signs. She simply stood near an exit she knew President Trump sometimes used, calm yet focused, ready with a question that had burned in her heart ever since the federal clarity directive was signed. A move that claimed to streamline federal language, but to the LGBTQ+ community, felt more like an erasure. Chloe had spent days preparing, not to protest with anger, but to ask a question that mattered, calmly and clearly, without flinching. The Federal Clarity Directive, signed months earlier, felt like a quiet undoing of protections the LGBTQ+ community had fought for, and it clashed with the president's rare but public statements about supporting all Americans. As minutes passed, and security casually scanned the area, Chloe stood alone, her pride flag in hand, steady and resolved. Then came a shift. Cameras rose, reporters stirred, and the White House doors opened. President Trump appeared, surrounded by Secret Service, dressed in his trademark suit and red tie, clearly focused on his next destination. As he neared the motorcade, Chloe didn't yell or block his way. Instead, she took 2 careful steps forward, just enough to enter his line of sight, her quiet presence asking for acknowledgement without a single word. She lifted the pride flag just enough for its colors to catch the sun, impossible to miss. Then something unexpected. President Trump paused. Maybe it was the flag, maybe her steady gaze, but he stopped. Security stiffened. Reporters leaned in, cameras ready. Trump turned, eyes meeting Chloe's. For a beat, there was silence. Then, with a steady voice, she spoke. Mr. President, you've said you support all Americans, but how does the new Federal Clarity Directive help LGBTQ+ citizens like me? Many of us feel it's taking away rights we thought were secure. The words hung in the air, not shouted, but sincere. Trump glanced at the flag, then gestured at it with a dismissive wave. You can put that down, he said. We don't need that here right now. Chloe didn't budge, flag still raised, eyes locked on his. Trump continued, his tone shifting. That directive is about fairness. It's about common sense, Trump said firmly. Clarity for everyone, not targeting anyone. We're stopping the radical agenda being pushed, which frankly a lot of Americans disagree with. An aide gave a faint nod while Secret Service kept their calm wall around him. Chloe didn't flinch. With all due respect, Mr. President, she replied evenly. For us, this isn't about an agenda, it's about being seen, being safe, and being recognized. When federal language erases us, it doesn't feel fair. It feels like we're being told we don't matter. Her pride flag stood tall, her outfit a quiet echo of her boldness. Trump's face tightened. He was used to steering conversations, but Chloe wasn't backing down. That's where you're wrong, he shot back, his tone sharpening. And that's what the media keeps twisting. This is about protecting values, the traditional values that built this country. It's about clarity. Like I said, my policies are for all Americans. We're making the country strong again, and that strength lifts everyone, Trump stated, pausing briefly as if expecting her to accept the answer. But Chloe, steady and respectful, pressed, "On, sir. How does redefining terms in a way that could remove protections for LGBTQ+ people make us feel safe or included? Can you explain how this directive specifically helps us as citizens?" Her calm but direct follow-up seemed to throw him off slightly. He was used to sweeping declarations, not pointed personal questions. Reporters leaned in, phones raised, capturing the tension of this unscripted moment. Trump glanced briefly at the press, then back at Chloe. He seemed to weigh his next move, deciding not to get pulled into a policy debate right there. "Listen," he began. He spoke with finality, his tone shifting to one that signaled the conversation was over, at least on his terms. "My administration is focused on the big picture, national security, the economy, restoring respect for America around the world. We're doing tremendous things for everyone, and frankly, this constant obsession with every little word and definition? It's a distraction from what really matters." He gestured broadly. "We have a major agenda for this country, and we're sticking to it because it's what the American people want. It's about the greater good." It was a pivot, back to familiar ground, bypassing her specific concerns. Trump gave Chloe one last look, then turned toward his motorcade. "We're doing what's right," he added, speaking more to the cameras than to her. His security team moved in sync, parting the way until he slipped into the waiting SUV, the door closing with a firm thud. Chloe stayed rooted, flag still raised. Her face now showed a flicker of disappointment, but the resolve in her eyes hadn't faded. The president was gone, but her stand remained. But her question, how exactly his policies support people like her, remained hanging in the Washington air, unanswered. As the president disappeared into his motorcade, the press quickly shifted, focus swarming Chloe with flashing cameras and rapid-fire questions. "What did he say? What's your name? Who are you with?" She didn't respond right away. She just stood there, the pride flag still raised high, its bold colors vivid against the pale backdrop of the White House. Chloe had asked her question calmly and bravely. She didn't get the answer she hoped for, maybe not any real answer at all, but she made sure her voice and the voices of many others were heard for a few powerful minutes. The exchange was short, but the image of this young woman standing firm with her flag was already spreading online, sparking conversation nationwide. It was one moment, but it carried weight, echoing the ongoing push for recognition and inclusion in America. As the motorcade vanished and the noise settled, Chloe lowered her flag slightly, not in defeat, but as if to pause and breathe. She knew the journey wasn't over. Today was one step, one question on a much longer road. The answer may not have come yet, but the courage to ask would keep others asking too. What do you think? Was Chloe right to confront the president directly, or did he handle it the best way he could? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more powerful moments like this, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a story.